Tanya Goudsouzian, who works for us, has covered Afghanistan as a journalist for 10 years, met and interviewed Rabbani on several occasions. When you last spoke to him, what were his hopes for Afghanistan's future?
Well, I saw him last in 2009 as the country was preparing for presidential elections. And he seemed concerned. Well, he expressed the hope that various ethnic groups would transcend their differences and that people would not be hung up on these, what he thought were outdated notions of...
Did he believe that peace with the Taliban was possible?
Well, we didn't really talk about that at the time. This was a couple of years before. This was a year before he was appointed to the High Peace Council. We spoke actually more about his early years, his formative years in the 1960s and 70s when he was starting off as a politician.
I mean, he may have had this sort of situation now as an elder statesman, but in those early years he was regarded as pretty ruthless, wasn't he?
Well, I think ruthless is a powerful word. I think he's well reputed for being a deal maker, a negotiator, a good diplomat, and I think that's also the reasoning behind giving him the position of head of the High Peace Council. He was credited with helping to give rise to the political Islam movement in Afghanistan in the 1960s. So that, I think, is probably one of his achievements that we don't really talk about. He was educated in Egypt, and he was one of the first to translate the works of the Muslim Brotherhood into Dari, into the Afghan dialect of Farsi.
After his time as president, a lot of people seem to, well, forget about him. But there he was working in the bank. And was he trying to reinvent himself?
I think this is what he succeeded in doing, in fact, after 2001, when he stepped aside in favor of Karzai. I think he realized that it was time to redefine himself as an elder statesman, which is what he did. He served as advisor to both Karzai and several other politicians. He was a member of parliament. He wasn't seeking higher office at this stage anymore, but he was very well regarded as there's very few of them left now, people with his gravitas, people who can command respect. And
you've spent time with the family, I know. I believe you spoke to them after he was killed. Is there anybody else in the way of Afghan politics, dynastically, who may well pick up his torch, if you want to call it that?
Well, right now it's hard to say. I think that is one concern that people are voicing, Afghans across the board, that systematically a lot of these leaders with history and prestige and respect are being eliminated one by one. So it leaves a lot of questions as to the future of
Tanya, very good
leadership.
to talk to you up here. Thank you very much indeed.